Hello class, today we're going to be discussing how to decode different words and how to use different symbols to show the different sounds for each letter, and we're also going to be discussing different words throughout the Bible from the book of Samuel and how we're going to actually decode those words together. But first I want to start off with going through our graphemes. So I'm just going to hold up a card and I want you to just say the sound and we'll go through them really quick, okay?
Oi.
Good. 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 Good.
E.
Good. 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 J. Good. 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 Okay. What was it? Ooh.
Ooh.
Good.
Wo.
Good.
O.
Okay.
E.
Good. A. E.
E.
I. Good.
A.
Good. Good. Good.
Word.
Good. Okay.
O.
Alright.
B.
Good. 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 Right. Good. 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 A. E. A. Good. 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 A. E. I. Good. Good. O. O. Ooh. Oof. Off. Ow. Ow. Good. 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 Shh. Good. Good. All right. Now, I want to look at a few of these. Can you remember what sound this one was? All right. Can you tell me where would this come in the word? Can we use this at the end of English words?
No.
No, we can't. All right. And what about this one?
That comes at the beginning and the ending.
Right. We can use n, two-letter n. This one we can use at the beginning or the end of a base word. All right. And then how do you say this one?
A.
A. Okay. So, and do we use this one at the end of English words?
Yes.
Yes, we can use this one at the end of English words. Very good. Now, I'm going to say some graphemes to you. I want you to get your pencil out, And I'm going to say some graphemes to you, and I want you to say them back to me and write them. All right, so the first one is going to be the of first. Second one is E.
E.
3 is ah. Say it back to me.
A.
And then write it. Good job. All right. 4 is going to be 2-letter.
2-letter.
Okay. 5 is going to be all right. 6 is g.
G.
All right, and then number 7 is going to be z. All right. Very good. All right, now we're going to go over some new words from the book of Samuel. And our first word is going to be the word at. Can you say at? At. Like, there were dogs at the park. How many syllables in the word at?
1.
1. Good. All right, so we're going to think to spell at. And we say at. All right, so I'm going to, can you dictate it to me? So, at. Very good. At. Now, how do we think to spell at, right? And then we say at. Now, can you, with your pencil, can you say as you write? So, go ahead and say it as you write.
At.
Very good. Now, I want you to read the word that you've written.
At.
All right, now say, can you teach the word to me?
At.
At. Very good. Now, how would we decode this word? Do you know?
Place a brief above the ah.
Very good. So you, with your pencil, you're going to put a breve over the ah. Now, do you know why we would have a breve over the ah? Why would you put that there? When do you put a breve? When it's making its which sound?
The first sound.
The first sound, right? So this is making its first sound. Very good. So that's our first word. And let's review our word. Does your coding look like mine on your paper?
Yes.
And it also says ah because is this an open or a closed syllable? Okay, closed. Very good. So let's review our word. It says we think to spell at, and we say at. Very good. Now I'm going to do our next word, which is upon. Can you say upon?
Upon.
Very good. So a sentence for this would be the king was seated upon the throne. The king was seated upon the throne. How many syllables in the word upon? 2, right? Upon. So we think to spell up, on. We say upon. So think to spell up, on, and we say upon. So let's do this. And then I go to our next syllable. On, aw. Very good. Now, let's review our spelling. So we think to spell up, on, and we say upon. Can I have you say that as you write, please? So go ahead and say that as you write. On. Now when we write, there's 2 syllables, right? So we're going to leave a space in between our syllables. So can you read the word that you've written? Upon. Now can you teach it to me?
Up.
And then the second syllable? Very good. Now how do you think we would decode this word? Let's start from here. Up.
You place a brief above the
Very good, because it's making its first sound, right? All right, let's go over here.
You put a brief above the
Very good, because it's also making its first sound. Now, we have two syllables, right? So we need to figure out the stressed syllable. Now, the way that you can do that is when you're saying the word, you want to kind of hum it. So, So while you say it, you can hum it, and that'll help you figure out where the stress is. So can you help me figure out where the stress is?
The stress would be on
Very
the
good.
second syllable.
So the stress would be right here, on the second syllable. Now, can you look at your word and tell me if it looks like mine? Does your coding look like mine?
Yes.
Very good. All right, so that's our second word. All right, and our next word is even. The shelf doesn't look even to me. So how many syllables is in the word even?
2.
2 syllables, very good. So we think to spell even. Even. We say even.
Even.
All right, can you help me sound it out? Even. So, can you go ahead and, on your piece of paper, can you say that as you're writing it?
Even.
Very good. All right, now read the word you've written to me.
Even.
Even, very good. Now can you teach it to me?
Even.
Whoops, sorry. My bad. So, very good. All right, can you help me decode this? How would we decode this first
place
syllable?
a macron over the E.
Good. And why would we put a macron over the E?
Because it's making its second sound.
It's making its second sound. Very good. Next syllable, what would we do here?
Place a brief above the E.
Very good, because it's making its
First sound.
first sound. All right, so we have 2 syllables again, right? So now we need to figure out where the stress is. So for even, can you hum it for me? Even. So where is the stress on this syllable? Yep, it's on the first one. Very good. So, does your coding look like mine?
Yes.
Can you check your paper? All right, so let's review our word. Let's say we think to spell even. We say even. Very good. All right, so let's do our next word. All right, so our next word is see. Like, I can see animals at the zoo. So how many syllables in the word see? 1 syllable, right? We think to spell see, we say see. Can you help me sound it out? See. Very good. All right, and for this C, we use E-double-E, always says E, right? So what that's called, when you have that, is called a digraph, because we have 2 letters making 1 sound. C, the E-double-E is 1 sound. All right, so can you sound that out with me one more time? C. Now I want you to say it as you write. So go ahead and write that on your paper and say it as you write.
C. E.
Very good. Okay. Now, can you read the word that you've written back to me?
C.
Good. Now I want you to teach it to me.
C. E. Double E.
Very good. So to be S, and then E, C. Very good. So how would we decode this word?
You would place a line under the 2 E's.
And why do we have the line under the 2 E's?
Because it is a digraph, which means it's 2, but letters
Very
working
good.
with one sound.
Very good. So anytime we have a digraph, which is two letters making one sound, we're going to underline it. Good job. All right. Does your decoding look like mine?
Yes.
Good job. All right. All right, so we have two more words I want to go over. Our next word is after. So after dark, we like to go to the store. So how many syllables is in the word after?
Two.
Two. All right. And we think to spell after, we say after. All right. Can you help me sound that out? After.
After.
Okay, so good. Okay. So let's review our pronunciation. So we think to spell after, we say after. Can you say that as you write on your paper? Very good. All right, now I want you to teach the word to me.
After.
Okay. So for our first syllable, or how would we decode this first syllable?
Place a breathe over the
Good. Because it's making its first sound. All right, now we have something different in this word. We have So do you know how would we decode
We would place an arc under the
We
two letters.
It's good. It's called a weld. So we're gonna put a weld under the
Yeah.
So we have the breathe over the and then the weld under the because this is making just one sound. So we're gonna weld it together. And where do you think the stress would be on after? After. Can you hum it for me?
The first one.
Very good. It would be on the first one. Can you check your coding and make sure it looks like mine?
Yes.
Good. Very good. Okay. All right, I'm going to go over another word with you. Our next word is quit. He quit his job because it was too hard. Quit. How many syllables is in quit? One, right? Okay. So we think to spell quit and we say quit. All right. Can you help me sound it out? It. Very good. Okay. And I want you to go ahead and say that as you write on your paper. Quit. It. Very good. Now, can you go ahead and teach the word, or read the word that you've written back to me?
Quit.
Quit. Now teach it to me.
Quit. Quit. It.
All right, so this one's a little different, has something different in it too, because we have the qua. How do you think we would decode qua? The qua. So what we're going to do is we're going to put something called a circumflex over the qua. And then there's something else that we have to do, because the U is not, is making a different sound, so we have to put something called the underdot. So can you do that on your paper with me? And then do you know what else we need to do for this word to decode it?
Place a breathe over the it.
Right, because it's making its first sound. So why do you think the U needs to have an underdot?
Because it is making a sound that is not a common sound.
Right, because it's not a vowel here. It's actually making a consonant. It's a consonant blend here, so that's why we have to have our circumflex over top because they're making their one sound, and then we have to put an underdot because the U is making a different sound, right? So can you check your coding for me and make sure it looks like mine on the board?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. And then I just have one more word. Our last word is going to be Jesus. So Jesus. So Jesus is the only way to salvation. How many syllables in Jesus?
Two.
Jesus. 2, right? Okay, so we think to spell Jesus, we say Jesus. Okay? So let's sound that out together. So
Two.
E.
S.
S. Very good. All right. Now, can you go ahead and say that word as you write?
Jesus. G. G. E. S. S.
Very good. Can you read the word you have back to me?
Jesus.
Jesus. Very good. Now teach it to me on the board.
Jesus. G. J. E. S. S.
Okay. And how would we decode this first syllable? The E.
You put a macron over the E.
Very good. Okay. And what about the second one?
Put a grieve over the
Let's start with this S here. Is it making its first or its second sound?
Second
Say
sound.
Jesus. It's making the second sound, right? Because it's a Z. Jesus.
So you would place a 2 over the S.
Good job. All right. And then the U.
Place a grieve over the
And what about the last S? What sound is it making?
second one.
How would we decode? Or sorry, no, you're right. We just put the breve over the U. Very good. So this is making its second sound. Okay. And what about for the syllables? How many? Or where would we put the stress? Jesus.
The
Jesus.
first one. Jesus.
Yes. Very good. Can you check your decoding and make sure it looks like mine?
Yes.
All right.
Jesus.
Looks good. Okay. Very good. All right. So now that we've gone over these words together, I'm going to read some sentences to you, and we're going to do a little quiz. And what I want you to do is you're going to say the sentence back to me, and then I want you to decode the word that we just went over in that. So the first sentence is going to be, he quit his job because it was too hard. Can you say the sentence back to me?
He quit his job because it was too hard.
Now can you write that sentence down, please? And can you say as you write, please, the word quit?
Quit. Quit.
And then do you remember, can you decode that word for me? Very good. So good job on that sentence. We're going to go to our next sentence. Jesus is the only way to salvation. So can you say that sentence back to me?
Jesus is the only way of salvation.
Now say as you write.
Jesus. J. E. S. S.
Make sure you're decoding it right. Okay. Very good. All right. And then we'll do one more sentence. The shelf doesn't look even to me. The shelf doesn't look even to me.
The shelf doesn't look even to me.
Good. Okay. And say as you write.
Even. E. Then. The. E. N.
Very good. All right, and then go ahead and decode the word even. Good job. So today we went over some biblical words from the book of Samuel, one of them being Jesus, and we know that Jesus is the only way to salvation. And it was very interesting being able to learn how to decode all of these words and to learn which sounds, which symbols to put over which sounds. Do you remember what symbol do we put over the first sound?
Agree.
And what about the second sound?
Make
And then do you remember we had a word that said qua, quit. How did we decode that? We put a circumflex over, right? And then we had to put the underdot, right? Because the U is making a different sound from normal. So very good. It was very good to be able to learn this, and it's really neat to be able to learn how to decode different words from the Bible. Thank you so much.